And it's time to reverse that journey to hell. Roger Stone's going to be popping in here in a moment. We're getting him on the line right now. But there is an hour-plus speech given yesterday by the head of the U.S. Army, Chief of Staff Mark Milley. And that dovetails with Dumford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, saying, you're asking us to go to war with Russia. We will launch cruise missiles. They will shoot down Russian aircraft. They will attack. And Congress goes, but our pilots won't get hurt. And they go, yes, but then our aircraft carriers will. I mean, this is like the congressman from Georgia thinking islands float. I mean, I am horrified. I used to always hear by people, Alex, it's not a conspiracy, it's idiots in government. Well, it's idiots with a conspiracy. It's both. But this is an incredibly dangerous time. Here is the piece. We went and excised out the clips of the chief of staff. The article's up on Infowars.com. U.S. Army chief threatens war with Russia. Here it is.
I want to be clear to those who try to oppose the United States. I want to be clear to those who wish to do us harm. I want to be clear to those around the world who want to destroy our way of life,
you mean the
that of our allies and friends.
You'll blow the planet up? You're a lunatic?
The United States military, despite all our challenges, despite our op-tempo, despite everything we've been doing, will stop you and we will beat you harder than you've ever been beaten before. Make no mistake about that. Other countries, Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, went to school on us. They closely watched how we fought in 91 and 03. They studied our doctrine, our tactics, our equipment, our organization, our training, and our leadership. And in turn, they revised their own doctrines, and they are rapidly modernizing the militaries today to avoid our strengths in hopes of defeating us at some point in the future. Recently, a senior Russian official, Ambassador to the United Kingdom, Alexander Karamenko, he said, quote, the established world order is undergoing a foundational shakeup with the Crimea, Ukraine, and Brexit. He went on to call for the dismantling of NATO and the European Union. And he said, quote, Russia can now fight a conventional war in Europe and win. Russia is the only country that will remain relevant forever. Any other country is dispensable, and that includes the United States. We are endgame now, end quote. We can now, and we will remain in the future, retain the capability to rapidly deploy, and we will destroy any enemy, anywhere, anytime. Additionally, the battlefield will be highly complex, almost certainly in dense urban areas, and against an elusive, ambiguous enemy that combines terrorism and guerrilla warfare alongside conventional capabilities mixed with large civilian populations.
And again, we're facing the biggest threat since World War II is the other quote. General Mark Milley has been ordered to do this. The threat is the New World Order. The threat is George Soros. The threat are the people spending hundreds of millions to have cops killed. The threat are the people that have opened our borders, have sold our jobs overseas, and want to collapse Russia like they've collapsed us. But he's been ordered to do this. He's been ordered to put this out. And what Russia has said, if you read the full quote, is they're in the end game because they know they're under attack. They're having drills. They're preparing for nuclear war. The average American is running around trying to get transgendered bathrooms put in. But he's been, Milley was ordered to do that, just like the chairman was ordered to do it 2 weeks ago, because that could be their October surprise is war with Russia. And then that makes sense. Accusing Trump, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, everybody being a Russian agent. No, ridiculous. But you see, then you start a war. Oh, then we got to arrest our opposition. Those evil folks that are pro-gun, those evil folks that are anti-radical Islam, those folks that are pro-family, those people that want lower taxes, they're Russian agents. Meanwhile, a bunch of neocon Trotskyites that are literally former Russian agents are who run the Republican Party that is against Donald Trump. Let's play this clip from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, just in case you just tuned in. You got Hillary saying if there's any cyber attacks they say are from Russia, launch a physical war against Russia. That's the hour we're in, folks. Here it is.
For Syria.
What about the option of controlling the airspace so that barrel bombs cannot be dropped?
All the options.
What do you think of that option, sir?
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia. That's a pretty fundamental decision that certainly I'm not going to make.
All right, let me explain what's happening here. Then I'm going to Roger Stone to cover other issues. He can comment on this if he wants to. Let's say Russia has an elephant gun, a 50 caliber rifle to our head. And General Dumford and General Miley have a 50 millimeter howitzer pointed at our head. Yes, the Russian head is going to be more blown off than ours, but our head's going to be blown off as well. The Russians can only destroy the planet, some estimates from Jane's Weapons Quarterly are 100 times. The U.S. 200, 300 times. And we all know there's a lot of secret weapons that have been developed. The Russians have too. But let's just be honest. The U.S. is got a lot of brains. Russia does too, but the U.S. is sickeningly providence prone. Okay? So this is crazy town. It's like saying, I've put 100 gallons of gasoline in your house. And we go, oh, yeah, Russia, we've put 500 gallons in your house. Well, I'll just light it. I'll light it too. Okay, flames will be higher in the Russian house than here. Our houses will be burned to the ground. And why? Russia isn't doing anything to us. And for that, I'm accused of being a Russian agent. Roger Stone, I've known him I met him like 6-7 years ago in Dallas at a JFK event. He's a best-selling author on the JFK assassination, but, you know, been in like inside 4 or 5 administrations, worked for, been involved in 9 different campaigns or 8 campaigns. Everything he's ever told me has been incredibly accurate, in fact, scarily so. But I had other sources, and I saw WikiLeaks out saying she'll be destroyed, she's going to be indicted, this will get her indicted just 2 weeks ago. He cancels this event, he goes out, he does this other Access TV-style deal from Germany, and then never releases anything. I got a little mad. But, Assange has done a great job overall, so I'll give him a pass. I apologize for being too angry in the middle of the night, being up 20 hours. But that said, they now say, and I have the clip coming up, let's cue that up, it's about a minute long after we talk to Stone, that they are going to release it, quote, the next few days. His lawyer said that on Al Jazeera. But that separately, we already have all these huge October surprises, the Benghazi stand down, all the corruption, the foundation, the emails. I mean, pretty much what would bring her down? The sky's the limit. But Roger sent me an email early in the morning. He said, it was like 6 a.m. I'd already gone to bed for a few hours. He's like, well, I'll take the blame. I've never been given such disinfo before directly by my intermediary to him. But I said, you don't take the blame. You're a credible guy. I get stiffed by sources too. We know what Hillary's really done. He's the one that advertised all this. You're more credible than ever. We're the men in the arena. So we come up short sometime. I noticed they had like Right Wing Watch and Media Matters and the Huffington Post make fun of me. Oh, Alex said he's proud he did that show the other night and was chumped. Yeah, we had millions of viewers online alone, grew our audience hugely. We're in hundreds of newspapers yesterday, exposed the globalists, brought up the Clintons' crimes while millions tuned in. Our link was the top link on the internet for the WikiLeaks feed. Yes, I succeeded by showing up in that game and getting run over. That's what a player does, dumbasses. And all you people that aren't in the arena don't get that. Roger Stone, the man in the arena, you're on the air.
Alex, great to be back with you. It's not over till it's over. And if one looks at the AP story on what Assange says, he's going to release documents for the next 10 weeks, and they are going to specifically address war, immigration, Google and what's going on there, and the U.S. election. So I don't think anything has changed. In this case, justice delayed is not justice denied. No one ever suggested that Alex Jones or particularly Roger Stone controls Julian Assange. We just admire him. But he's going to inform the American people, evidently, on a time frame of his choosing. He's not for Donald Trump. He's not a Republican.
No, he's been very, very bipartisan. And look, again, I got angry. I've apologized. Overall, his work's so great. I just didn't like sitting there hearing him say, he said, she'll be indicted when I release this, and then it didn't get released. But I talked to some sources, correct me if I'm wrong, that say he was actually threatened that you'll never get a deal if you do this.
Well, not only that, they have these trumped-up charges against him on sexual assault, which I'm convinced is a complete frame.
Yeah, they admit 2 women consensual, menage a trois, then weeks later they bitch, and one of them has been connected to the Central Intelligence Agency.
Right, and I know know, Alex, you're personally jealous about the two girls. So it's laughable. It's a joke because it's a frame, and you can see that they want to lock this guy up so that he cannot expose the deep state. But nothing's really changed. I'm still highly confident that he is going to do what he has said he is going to do. Perhaps it won't happen in the time frame that I had been made aware of, but I still have confidence in
And let's be clear, though, now that I know the inside baseball, he didn't chump you or anybody. He was going to do it. Everything you said fall with their tracking. He got some incredible threats. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have this from another source, from lawyers in New York. That's when he backed off. Now he's had Sarah Harris. I want to play this clip. Yesterday on Al Jazeera, this has gotten no coverage. It's on Infowars.com, said it will be in the next few days. Here it is.
A press conference, Sarah Harris, and we were told by Julian and Assange that more leaks were coming, more damaging information was coming. He mentioned Hillary Clinton. What can we expect from that over the next few days?
Well, as Julian was explaining this morning, we will be starting some more publications that will be running with publications happening every few days. They'll be starting in a few days. And we have several of them with a number of interesting revelations that will be coming out to do with, yes, as you just pointed out,
what's interesting
the
about
election,
them?
but also in a number of other topics. Well, I'm afraid on that one I'm going to annoy you, and you're going to have to wait.
That's Sarah Harris, the editor. There's also a lawyer on the same show saying similar things. So Stone, that's good news. We want to see, quote, the information that will indict her. If he has knowledge of a crime, he needs to release it.
Well, reading from the Associated Press, Assange says that WikiLeaks plans to start publishing new material starting this week, meaning next week. And the significant material would address war, arms, oil, internet giant Google, the U.S. election, and mass surveillance. Yes, I think that this payload is coming, and the deep state is quaking in their boots. Now, you can't really blame Assange. He doesn't want to end up like Seth Rich, who took 3 in the back.
In fact, it's funny. It shows you may have the same sources. He was told, hey, Seth Rich got 3 or 4 bullets in the back. You better shut up.
Yeah, I mean, and he now knows that Hillary Clinton actually considered using a drone to take him out. They've had security problems there at the Ecuadorian embassy. The globalists want this guy dead, and quickly, because he can connect the dots, and I suspect they know he can connect the dots, and that is deeply problematic for the Bushes and the Clintons and others who have been profiteering off the system while they sell out their country.
And they thought the NSA would spy on us, and now spies on them. Shifting gears out of this, then, what do you make of all the war with Russia talk? Is that Hillary's October surprise?
Well, it could be. Look, I've said all along that the whole idea of her raising the question of Trump's coziness with Russia, a completely phony issue. Eric Trump today saying we have no investments or loans whatsoever in Russia, so that turns out to be an entire canard. No, I think the neocons around Hillary are committed to war. It is the policies of the Obama-Clinton administration that have moved us towards war. Trump is the peace candidate. Trump favors détente with the Russians. He understands.
So how do we reach out to liberals and say your party is a warmongering psycho group now?
It's really it is everything is kind of backwards. It's
upside
become
down.
Very, very Kafkaesque. You're looking down the rabbit hole. Now we are the ones who are soft on the Russians, which is nonsense, and the Democrats are the hardliners. I mean, it's everything here is bad.
Well, by soft on the Russians, we're not going to let them take over or push us around, but we are against nuclear war on the end of the planet.
Well, and I think so are they. And more importantly, we have a common enemy in ISIS who is a greater threat to both of us at the moment. It would probably be a good thing if we could get together and coordinate our efforts to destroy them. Then yesterday, just proving this whole continuing drama, I learned with a certainty that Congressman Jerry Nadler from New York,
Jabba the Hutt's son,
spearheaded the effort to get the FBI director to investigate yours truly for my non-existent ties to the Russians and the supposition that the foreign agent Stone is talking to the foreign agent Assange. Well, I've never said that. He's not a foreign agent. I'm not a foreign agent. This is a witch hunt that Joe McCarthy would be proud of. But Nadler now admits the questions were fed to him by the money launderer, David Brock, the incredibly short and nasty hitman for the Clintons, who, by the way, whose book, The Education of Hillary Rodham, is the foundation for my book. He confirms, actually he wrote it before I did, all of the criminal activities of Hillary Clinton in silencing Bill's sexual assault victims, a book he has never disavowed.
Why did he switch sides?
Cash. Cold cash. He's a mercenary, and he wasn't making enough money on the right. Meanwhile, you have the hijacking of the conservative media. We now know that Fox News, as you pointed out, Britt Hume at Fox News got busted yesterday using word for word, verbatim, Media Matters for America talking points. Newsmax, once a reliable conservative organ, has been hijacked by the Clintons. The owner of Newsmax, Chris Ruddy, has given $1.5 million to the Clinton Foundation. This is the guy who wrote the definitive best book on Vince.
Why did he do that? Because he knows the Clintons are going to have scorched earth and shut down all of their media? Is that why Beck is groveling? Is that why Beck is groveling? Is that why Beck is groveling? Because they know it's the end game?
No, in this particular case, there was an email released by Assange last week that shows that Ruddy appealed to the Clintons to get a visa for a young man who's a friend of his in Panama to come and stay in the United States. So it's pay for play is what it appears to be. But people need to know, Newsmax was once a conservative organ. It's now controlled by the Clintons. If that's where you're getting your news, folks, switch to Infowars.com, because Newsmax is no longer run by conservatives, just like Fox News is no longer run by conservatives. These are now Clinton House organs.
Oh, I mean, they'll have a show where it's the host and then a Republican Democrat, and the Republican Democrat guest will go, oh, it's ridiculous. Hillary only stumbled. She didn't fall down. We have the footage. I saw that on Bill Hemmer yesterday. I mean, they have reached that magnitude. Roger Stone's our guest. I want to ask him what's on his radar. I've been asking the questions. I want to find out what he's focused on straight ahead. Where is Trump really in the polls? What happened in the debate last night? Got a bunch of those clips as well. And then Paul Watson from His Britannic Majesty's London, England in the 4th hour. Infowars.com. There's the new Hillary Don't Tread on Me shirt, limited edition. All right, we got this segment and one other, 5 minutes the next hour. Then Paul Watson is ready to come into the bullpen and onto the field. We are 33 days out. This is an epic time, to say the least, to be alive. I've been asking a lot of questions here, Roger Stone. What about the polls? What about the numbers? What about Hillary? What about the debate last night? I mean, wow. Did Governor Pence not absolutely annihilate Creepy Kane? Kane is burning down, it seems like.
I think Mike Pence did a fantastic job last night, and I was very proud. You know, I've offered to step in as his body double at any time, but last night I'm glad I didn't, because he was terrific. Measured, balanced comment, and he was up against a rude, arrogant jerk. I mean, the likability factor in American politics is crucial. I mean, constantly being interrupted, just creepy. I mean, the guy is somebody on a radio show was on this morning, said he looked like a child molester. I mean, the guy was sweating, nasty. This is the guy who would be working Republicans in Congress as sitting vice president. And, of course, the juxtaposition of the Kane record in Virginia, a disaster, and Pence's record in Indiana, a model in terms of productivity and growth and economic prosperity, it is striking. So I would just remind some folks that it was Paul Manafort who strongly urged the selection of Mike Pence, who arranged for Trump to meet Pence, that others in the camp at that point, Lewandowski, wanted Chris Christie. Think how that would have worked out. He's 2 steps away from impeachment now that we've determined in the federal courts that he lied entirely about the George Washington Bridge closing.
Sure. I mean, getting off Christie, I want to be clear, because there was some crosstalk in my ear. I mean, I'm not saying Kane is a child molester, but he's called Creepy Kane. Trump says he looks like a, absolute kook criminal. I can pull up the actual tweet. But I heard you say something about child molester.
What I said was I did a radio show this morning, and a woman called in and said he looked like a child molester. I'm not saying...
You didn't know that in the first hour I said he looked like a child molester? Wow.
No, I did not. So it is obviously people did not react well to the whole way he came across.
Yeah, when people think you look like a child molester, you're not doing too good.
Yeah, I would say generally speaking.
And we're not saying he molests children. We're not saying that. Everybody knows Caddyshack is Judge Smells molest colleagues.
I tuned in to see Newt Gingrich, who I thought he was on the Trump team, but he's out there criticizing Trump. Trump should have done
Yeah, why does Trump put up with Gingrich? He's criticizing him every day. I mean, Gingrich is the biggest snot-nosed Rockefeller globalist I ever saw.
Ran Rockefeller's campaign in Georgia in '68. I remember specifically when Richard Nixon told me, he sniffed and said, that Newt Gingrich, don't trust him, he's no good.
He wrote a foreword to Alvin and Heidi Toppler's book calling for world government, microchipping of the population, and the Rockefellers running everything.
Yeah, Newt Gingrich, not a conservative, not a conservative. So, but remember, those were your choices for vice president. Christie, who some in the Trump inner circle wanted, the ticket would be imploding right now had we taken him. Gingrich, he would be out criticizing the presidential candidate today. No, Mike Pence was exactly the right man, and the Trump-Pence ticket is really the final last chance for this country to survive. I honestly believe this. Is Donald Trump perfect? No. Would he tell you he's perfect? No. But he's his own man. He's a nationalist. He believes in America.
Exactly. So what happens this Sunday? What happens with this big Royal Rumble with the known CIA operative Anderson Twinkle Toes Bite Your Pillow hosting it?
Well, I like Anderson Cooper. He's always been very nice to me. I just don't like his politics. Since the other night, Megyn Kelly attacked me, but they won't afford me the chance to come on. John King at CNN attacks me the other night when asked about with WikiLeaks and Stone's comments regarding Assange. He says, well, Stone probably believes in Area 51. Alex, I don't even know what Area 51 was. I had to go look it up. So,
well, that's what they always do. Loch Ness Monster. Let's talk about the Vanderbilt Cooper straight ahead. Back in 70 seconds, fourth hour, Infowars.com/show. We have the new Hillary shirt available. Hillary and the Gadsden flag. The Gadsden snake attacking Hillary for peace and loving liberalness. Infowarsstore.com. By the way, the Don't Tread on Me Hillary shirt, limited edition. We're just doing a 3,000 run, and that's it. Infowarsstore.com. The Bill Clinton rape shirt, limited edition. We're going to be ending at the in 33 days. The Hillary for Prison shirt. It's over. Somebody else will sell it if you want the original. Infowarsstore.com. And we have bulk from 10 to 100 bumper stickers at cost at Infowarsstore.com. Hillary for Prison, Infowars.com. We will rush deliver this to you in the next few days. Order it, get them out, have an effect, especially in battleground states. I printed 1 million of these bumper stickers, so let's have some fun, Infowars. We got 4 minutes left. You wanted to talk about the debate. Roger Stone of StoneColdTruth.com. What do you expect to see in the second presidential debate between Donald J. Trump and Hillary the Joker Clinton?
Well, what's kind of interesting, of course, is that these debates are always greatly affected by the expectations. The expectations now for Hillary are very high. The expectations for Trump are suitably low, and I have no doubt that he will exceed them. He has got to counterpunch a little more aggressively. I don't care about him looking presidential. I just want him to look like Donald Trump. Just be Donald Trump. And I think he will do just fine. I also, if I were giving him advice on this matter, and I would never talk about what advice I've ever given him, but I would try to ignore the extraneous attacks. No one cares about Miss Venezuela, not when Hillary Clinton has empowered, people in the Middle East who are running around cutting women's genitals off and who are stoning women.
Exactly. Don't defend what she makes up. Bring up the fact that you're the one that supports cutting women's genitals off.
I mean, so I would counsel him to just go in there and make his points and kind of ignore the absurdities that she raises. She's going
Which is debate 101.
Yeah, lecture us on cybersecurity, lecture us on mandatory minimum sentences. Please give me a break. So I think he's going to be very good in the next debate. I think he was good in the last debate. It's just that the mainstream media decided to reinterpret the debate in terms of what happened. And we've seen this before. One debate does not a campaign make? The mainstream media and the historians, virtually all liberals, try to tell you that John Kennedy put Nixon away in the first debate.
Now, isn't the second or third what counts?
There were 4 debates. Nixon won the last one. He closed fast. The momentum was with him in the final weeks, not with Kennedy. He was sitting still.
And then they stole Illinois and Texas from Kennedy.
They stole it from him. Nixon won that race by scoring in the 4th debate, but that's been airbrushed out of history.
But they admit he did steal Texas and Illinois.
Oh, there's no question. Kennedy had to steal it because Kennedy, the late momentum was with Nixon. Eisenhower did momentous rallies in New York, Philadelphia, and L.A. Nixon was on his game. He had hoarded his money till the end. He outspent Kennedy in the stretch, and he won that race by a hair, and they stole it from him. Why? Because he won the 4th debate. He also won 2 and 3.
And that brings me in closing, the steal. They admit they're federalizing. They admit they're federalizing the debate. What do we do about that? How do we fight that?
Yeah, look, the debate has been rigged from the beginning. You know my strong feeling that the Libertarian and Green Party candidates should be in there, both as a matter of what is right, but also if you just want to make the hard-headed political calculation, Johnson plus Stein is net negative Hillary. Johnson plus Stein is net negative Hillary. Trump from the beginning should have insisted that they be in the debate or he wouldn't show up.
I agree, but what do we do about election fraud?
Well, again, I would urge people who are concerned about this to go to stopthesteal.org. We are about to unveil our exit poll program, which is entirely net-based. It's very sophisticated. We're doing our targeting right now.
I would call it science poll or mega poll or something like that.
Well, we can talk about that, but the concept, of course, is to get actual voters to tell us how they voted, not how they're going to vote, but how they voted on a very targeted precinct-by-precinct, machine-by-machine basis, so we can detect fraud by comparing the exit results with the actual.
All right, we'll talk tomorrow results about this, Roger. A quickening happening. Thank you, Roger Stone, StoneColdTruth.com. We'll talk to you very soon. Get his Bill Clinton rape shirt at InfoWarsStore.com. Thank you. I'll come back and introduce Paul Watson. Stay with us. Thank you, Roger Stone. Huge time to be alive.
Great to be